It starts at 10:02. Good morning. Got a full house. And I don't know if it's me or the raffle drawing that through the crowd, but I like to believe that you're here to see me. So don't tell me otherwise if that's the case. First, Boyd is going to introduce our educational assistance program recipients. Still struggling with the new scholarship terminology name, but our team members who have gotten educational assistance from the committee.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Boyd Nace, Chair of the Educational Assistance Committee, formerly known as the Scholarship Committee. Earlier this year, we opened up applications and we had a number of applicants. They were reviewed by our committee and then sent to Human Good to make sure the documentation was complete. And it turned out that we have 5 recipients. And we wanted to recognize and introduce them. And I'm not sure how many are here today. 3. Okay. So we have Samantha England. You want to come back? Samantha's pretty amazing. She has been here, I think, for about 16 years. Starting in the wait staff, in the dining room. And she's probably done more things than anybody else. You may remember her as a concierge, administrative assistant, sales assistant, and now human resources assistant. So, which one do you like the best?
Put me on the spot. Thank you. I love them all. They've taught me so much, you know, in many different ways. And I just thank you all for those that have contributed and those that have supported my success here. Thank you so much.
Well, right now, she is taking online classes through the University of Arizona. Human Good has a program for selected team members to take online classes at the University of Arizona, and they pay the tuition, but they don't pay everything.
Yes.
So that's why we were able to help you.
I appreciate it.
Anything else you'd like to say?
That's it. I graduate next August. My degree in bachelor's.
There's just a more thing. Okay, I understand Julia. Hello, you're here.
Hi.
Well, if you come to the dining room, you probably know Julia. She's one of our wonderful wait staff, and you know, she is maybe out top.
Thank you.
And Julie, I think you're finishing up at Crafton?
Yes, next semester is my last semester at Crafton. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay,
And one more semester.
okay, good. And then I understand you're planning maybe to go into nursing education.
Yes. Yes. I want to go to West Coast University. It's in Ontario. Yeah. That's my plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
But have you made an application there yet or no?
Yes, but I'm just finishing my career.
Yeah. And when would you expect it?
Within the next year, so
Okay.
soon hopefully.
Okay, well, very good. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
I just thank you so much because paying for the classes on my own is not nice, but it's better than going to university. So thank you.
Okay. And then Andrea. Andrea is pretty remarkable too. Yeah. Let's see, I think you've been here since 2014. And I think you also started. the dining room. And let's see, I know you've been concierge. And more recently now, you know, she received her LPN, which was.
Yes.
And she's been in the enrollment now for a couple of years, right? Yeah. Now, why don't you tell us what you're going for now?
So I am attending the University of Arizona Global Campus, just like Sam, with the Human Good Education Assistance. And I will be graduating in September next year with my bachelor's in healthcare administration.
Well, anything else you'd like to say?
Just thank you guys so much for supporting our education and allowing team members to grow in our community.
Thank you. We're planning on another application process actually starting next week. Ordinarily, we do 2 a year, one in the spring and one in the fall. Last year, we didn't get to complete the fall program. We were right in the middle of it, and then the UGood said we had to have our applications in earlier than we thought. So we had to scrub that, but we made that up this year earlier. Of course, that all depends on whether we have enough funds. And most of the funding comes from the residents. So we hope you'll consider being generous. Thank you.
There's pictures and visual aids. My lovely assistant here will figure this out.
More? Yeah, that's good. I'll keep going.
Capital improvements. All right, so I was originally planning on having Luis come and present on just some updates on the capital improvement projects that we have going on this year, of which there are many. Unfortunately, Luis is away at the Building and Grounds Conference in Washington. So here I am. He put together some slides for me. So I'll go through these real quick and just give you some updates on some of our projects. Then we will talk some resident surveys and a few updates after that, and then we will at the end go into our raffle drawing. So yes, you will have to sit through this whole thing in order to see the result of the drawing. That is intentional. Let's see. Yeah. So we have gotten some new kitchen equipment. A single door freezer, not that exciting. Deep fryers, a little bit more exciting, as that does impact your experience, as well as the hot box for keeping our food warm before it goes out to you all. More kitchen equipment, a new floor mixer, and a new tilt skillet. The tilt skillet is a big one. This is something the dining has been asking for. It really does make their job a lot easier there in the back, especially producing, at the volume that they are. So we're trying to give them the tools that they need to provide great service to you all. Carport repairs, so they have already started this. It is in progress. You've probably seen some of them. So they're replacing any of the damaged wood that needs replacing and then getting them painted so that just, makes the community look nicer.
That's your house.
Paving, slurry and seal. So that is getting close to being done. We have 2 more slurry seals at the end of this week, Thursday and Friday. We've got a slide on that one as well coming up. But it does make such a huge difference. And I hear that from folks that come and visit the community too. They say, wow, these streets, it just looks so much nicer to have them all fresh and nice and black and the fresh paint on them. It really does improve the overall look of our community. Lodge remodel. So we've done some of that, but there is more to come, and this is scheduled to start on May 11th. So they'll be doing the lobby area, the floors out there by the dining room, and get that all upgraded as well as some paint. So we'll see some big improvements there. The plan is also, if you looked at some of those renderings, is we're gonna make some changes to the concierge desk. Main driving force behind that is the fact that you can't see that there's a concierge behind the desk when you walk in. And we'd rather you see their smiling face as you enter, than just this tall desk here. Valve replacements. Maybe not that exciting for you, but it's very exciting for us, especially the grounds, the building and grounds team. As in doing these valve replacements, it has been a little uncomfortable. But it's gonna be a huge benefit for us. And as we do have minor repairs or different things that we have to do that require water shutoffs, we're now gonna be able to isolate certain sections. So it won't be shutting down the entire campus in order to fix something at one of our buildings. I think we are done with all of those valve replacements. Just another one, they did one in front of the health center out there, and they've already put the concrete back. Roof replacements, I think there's 6 scheduled for this year. One already complete, as you can see in that first picture, and then we've got one in progress that started on the 22nd. And here's just, this is not all, this is not a comprehensive list, but going over some of these projects still to come this year. So shuffleboard, we do have that project open, and we're just waiting on finalizing the design and the other details of that, so we don't have a scheduled date for implementation. Carports we talked about, lodge, benches and shades for transportation. So we are gonna be putting more benches along with shade covers for transportation to be able to go around and have tram stops essentially. So you have a nice place to sit and wait for the tram to come and take you to dinner. Roof replacements, Grove HVAC. So we're doing a replacement on the Grove HVAC system over there. Just these necessities that we need to keep everything up and running. And again, I love to plug this, but just the fact that Human Good and Plymouth Village does these things before they're needed. We don't wait for these things to fail. We proactively identify that they're end of life or nearing end of life and proactively replace them so that we don't have downtime, especially as we enter summer. That can be very uncomfortable for us. Slurry seal, water heater replacements is another proactive replacement in the village, in the health center. They did replace the grounds golf carts, which were looking a little rough. In that we got a new golf cart for the Grove as well. And then you probably noticed, then taken that golf cart and transitioned it into a delivery cart for dining. So we're repurposing that guy. Breezeway Day Room. So that is, we already have designs. So we have an architect that has made some designs for us to do this day room off of the breezeway over here next to the health center. It'll just be a really nice common space for families to go and meet, to have activities, just another gathering space for us over there, which will be really nice. We'll give you more updates as we have a better timeline for when that's actually going to start on construction. And village shower refinish. So I guess what we're calling that. Essentially, we'll be going into the showers in the health center, and in each individual room, we're going to be redoing those showers so that they're more usable for residents, so that they can take their showers in their room, in those bathrooms. Be nice and smooth, like a lot of our RL homes where they can just roll in. It'll be a flush entryway into those showers. And so it'll be a great benefit for our residents, but also for the team members as well. It'll make their jobs a lot easier. So that is some exciting stuff coming. We do have, as you know, a lot more, and we'll be providing more updates as they come for those. Slurry seal. Seems like a good opportunity to talk about this. So Thursday and Friday, they're going to be doing the slurry on through Carter and then down part of Standish. And then Friday we'll finish the rest of Standish and then down through Brewster to get that part cleaned up. So we do want to make sure for residents that live over there, you make sure your cars are out so that you're not trapped. And that, yeah, hopefully we'll go fairly smoothly. They're saying 7 a.m. to 4, and we always like to overpromise in that way. It's going to take longer. What we saw, it just kind of depends on the weather. And so when we did down there by Kendall House, that actually, it was dry and ready to walk on a lot quicker than we anticipated. So hopefully that will be the case, but just gonna say that it'll be closed down till 4, just so you can plan for that, and then we know that it will all be cleaned up by then. All right. You have capital questions? Joyce?
I'm gonna give you a compliment and an inquiry.
Can I give you a microphone?
Okay. We've had 2 visits at the library that have made us think something's happening to the library in the near future. But about 2 weeks ago, an inspector for human good was in the dining room and then he saw canvas over in the library. He found, this is a compliment, he found some lights on top of the bookcases that we, all the 10 years I've lived here, never had them on. All of a sudden, we have light in the library and we haven't even been remodeled. So we in the library want to, please tell us when we need to be closed down and have any more nice surprises like that.
Yeah, we don't have any actual official plans to do any renovating in the library at this time, but we would definitely be talking to you all about that before we did do something like that.
We've had 2 visits though. Oh, I guess something's coming.
It may be eventually coming, but there's nothing formally in place right now. There's not actually been any like official talks about doing that. But yeah, Greg Bierce was here doing his grand rounds and he's got a lot of historical knowledge about Plymouth Village. So he's probably known those lights were there and the rest of us had never seen them operating. So that's a huge benefit. Jan.
A while back, I heard that there will be a second TV in each of the health center rooms so that each of the residents in that room can have a TV for themselves. And I heard that that was coming, but I don't see it on the list.
You are correct. That is coming. It is not on the list. That is not a comprehensive list. There is a lot of projects happening this year. The TVs is one of them. So we're currently working to see about how we're going to do the cabling for that, because we have to then connect our existing call light system has the capability of having essentially a pillow speaker and remote control built into that, which has to then be connected with the TVs. So we're working with vendors to figure out the details of how that's all going to come to fruition, but that is in the budget and in the plan for this year.
What's the latest update on Kendall?
Oh, Kendall House. Oh, the red tape. So we're still talking back and forth with the city about getting plans approved for Kendall. So we're in a holding pattern currently, but still working on it. So yeah, I wish I had better updates, more exciting ones, but it's just the process, long process.
Are they still thinking of the walkway off the 2 Palm?
That was the last that we heard from them, is they came back and said we needed to put a handicap ramp all the way from Kendall to the sidewalk on Palm. Why is a good question. So that's something that we're, obviously talking with them, but it's all these ADA requirements and things like that, that they want you to bring things up to code when you're doing renovations like this. So that's all part of our back and forth with them.
Did we all write letters to the city council?
I don't think we're at that point yet, but if it does escalate to that point, I may be reaching out for help. Any other capital questions? Very good. All right, moving right along. Resident survey is coming. We're actually already in our soft launch. It's soft launched on Monday for our survey champions to go ahead and get in there and start familiarizing themselves with it so that they can better help all of you when it launches for everyone this coming Monday. On May 4th, it will run through the 18th. A lot of you are probably very familiar with this, as it is the same every year, but essentially it's just a chance for us to get feedback from all of you. And in no way are we expecting you to wait for this survey to provide us that feedback, but it is a formal opportunity to do so. And of course, in venues like this, in town halls is a great way to let us know your opinions of what's going on, both positive and opportunity wise. But also to reach out to me really anytime that there is something that we need to do a little bit differently or tweak. But we wanna hear what's going well and maybe what could be a little bit better. And in this too, I like to preface it with looking at this through the lens of how is it different maybe from last year to this year. So I think sometimes it's viewed as, well, 10 years ago it was like this, or with more historical backside. And I think it's more beneficial to us, so that's kind of my plea, is it gives us a better idea of where we should be moving forward when we look at the changes that we've made recently and how those are impacting your daily lives. So if we kind of look at it through that lens, that gives us a little bit more real-time data to then come back and make changes. In this too, I will say, please, if you want to take the time to give us additional information as you're giving feedback and scores and things like that, utilize the comments. We do look at every single one of those comments, and it's great for me to have context to be able to understand, well, why is this score maybe not as high as we would like it to be. So really, it's a great opportunity to give us as much information as possible, because it makes it easier for me to act on it. Net Promoter Score, as a lot of you know, is a big part of this. It's something that Human Good really puts a lot of focus on. And it helps us just as an organization, but in the industry as a whole, to really differentiate ourselves or set ourselves apart and show what we're doing well. So with this, it's an interesting scoring system, and on a scale of 1 to 10, we're essentially asking a yes or no question. So the way that this is developed, it's on a negative 100 to a positive 100 point scale. The 0 through 6 is going to be a negative point, 7 and 8, 0, and 9 and 10 is a positive point. So really the way that we like to phrase this, just to make it a little bit easier, is to say, if you would recommend, 9 or 10 is a yes, and really anything else would be no, not recommending the community. So it is this one question, and it asks, how likely are you to recommend your community to friends and family? So we're not saying we're doing everything perfectly, that there's not opportunities here, and the rest of that survey is a great place to highlight all of those things and let us know. But really what we're looking for in this is, are you happy that you made the choice to move to Plymouth Village? Are you happy to live here? If someone asks, would you be proud to tell them, yes, this is where I live? And if you have the opportunity, I think you would enjoy it as well. Sometimes folks will say, well, I don't really have any friends or family that would, be interested in this type of living situation, or maybe they can't afford it. That's not the question. It's really, would you recommend overall?
Great.
Thank you.
It seems there's a great deal of negative bias by using a scale of 10. And the way it's, it just seems like maybe we could use a scale of 5 so that 3 would be 0.
That is a great point, and one that does often come up when we're talking about this. This is not a rating scale that is developed by us. It is not a Plymouth Village rating scale. It actually spans across all different organizations and lines of service. So Pepsi is rated on this, Apple, things like that, right? So this is an organization that independently puts out this Net Promoter Score and has developed this rating scale. So I'm with you. If it was a yes or no, that would be far simpler for us, but that's what we've kind of looking at it and talking it through. This is the way for us to better explain it to you all, just to make it more simple, because there's a lot of folks that say, well, I think a 7 or an 8 is a really strong score. If I was rating something otherwise, that would be a strong score. But in this interesting rating system, it's not. Essentially, you're throwing your vote away or voting against with those otherwise pretty strong ratings. So this just gives you a little bit clearer breakdown of that, promoters, passives, and detractors. And that's how they get our overall score. So we're looking at what's a good score. And for us, we definitely want to be in that excellent range of 70+. We have been for the last 2 years. 25, not quite as strong as 24. But still, we had a great score last year as well. So again, -100 to 100 is the points rating. For human good in our 23 life plan communities, the scores range from a high of 94 down to a low of 48. I don't think they're doing as good of a job at educating their residents about how this works. So I really do think that that is a big part of it, is really folks not fully understanding the question or how it gets calculated. I see Norm raising his hand back here. Me too.
This is at least my third year with this question. And what occurs to me now, at this point, is that we're not really rating Plymouth Village or human good. We're rating ourselves. How good do we think this place is? How would other people see us living here? I mention this because I have some complaints at times about Plymouth Village. I hear other people having some complaints about the dining room or the gardening or any one of a whole bunch of things. Right now, my neighborhood is complaining about the slurry project on Thursday because it's in our cars. But what we're really, what I'm dealing with, I'll talk singular. I want people to think that I live in a really great place. I don't want them to think that I'm living in just an average place. So when I see the rating 1 to 10, 9 and 10 are the only good rating. And up until this year, I was saying you could rate 9 if you were complaining about, if you weren't unhappy with Plymouth Village. And you could rate 10 if you were really happy with everything. Now I would change that and I would say, rate it 10. You're rating yourself. You're not rating Plymouth Village. You're not rating Michael. You're not rating human good. You're rating yourself. And if you want to get into the magazine annual kudo that this is a really good place, the way to do it is just simply rate it 10, not 9, not anything else. Thank you.
Thank you, Norm. Okay. I think that's a great explanation. I think it really is a question of, are you proud of where you live and the choice that you made to be here? So I think that's a great way of looking at it, definitely. And there's a lot of other questions in which we can say, well, we can make it better if, and we definitely want to hear that really more than anything. That's what I want to know, is what I can do to make it better. So last year, a score of 77, we were 7th in the organization, which as a somewhat competitive person, I don't love. I think that Plymouth Village should be at the top of the human good communities, just the way that I feel about it personally. So I would love to see us bump up in those ratings this year, and have a stronger score. So I can go and tell my counterparts, clearly Plymouth Village is the best or one of the top 3, would be fantastic, because it is for me. Previous year's scores, 2023, we were at 52, and we shot up in 2024 to an 81, which is a very strong score. So I'd love to see us get 80 plus this year. It would be huge. See that hand in the back.
US News and World Report gave us the top score, the top rating for a senior community. What do they base their decision on? I think they've given it 2 years in a row, and it's something to be very proud of. But I wondered if you knew how they come to that decision.
Yes, so the NPS question is one that does factor into that. There's some other questions in this survey as well. That data goes to US News and World Report, and that's how they determine those that make the list of the US best. And so for 2026, I didn't have a 2026 best of banner thing to add in here. But we did get best independent and best assisted living based on the survey that you all did in 2025. And so this survey is one of the driving factors of that, which of course then gives us the opportunity to go and show off and say, I live at Plymouth Village and, you know, we're on this list. Which, you know, it helps us for advertising and things like that as well, for trying to bring in new residents and more individuals like you all. It does, that's a great point, is the higher occupancy, the more the costs of running this community are spread out, and then that of course directly impacts your monthly fee. This is on an annual basis. Thank you, Joyce. So a little bit more about US News and World Report and what we just went over. Just love to have that little, look at those beautiful records. So yeah, we love being able to have that little banner on the side of our advertising materials. Tell us what you think. This is an opportunity. That's exactly what this survey is all about, is letting us know again what we're doing well and where we can improve. So please take the time to do the survey and share your feedback with us. Just another rundown of our dates, running from May 4th to the 18th. So here's just some basic questions, and I will put these slides on Cubigo as well if you want to reference them later. Survey takes 10 to 20 minutes, just kind of depending on how in detail you go. If you don't want to answer a question, that's fine. You can skip it. And we do have resident survey champions who can assist you with the survey, anywhere from just helping you log in and access it to helping you through the questions, input answers. And we will have help hours over in the art gallery like we do in past years as well. If you have bad things to say them. Absolutely. This is definitely not just a feel-good, rah-rah exercise that we want to do. The entire purpose of this is to hear what we can do to improve and how you are experiencing your life at Plymouth Village. And of course, I got to bring it back to the Net Promoter Score one more time. I'm going to ask Jessica if she wants to share a little bit about it and her thoughts on it.
Sure. Hi, everyone. For those of you that I don't know, I'm Jessica Lopez. Yes, I am this tall. I heard people commenting. 5'11" without shoes, with these shoes, probably 6'1". I have to say, first of all, isn't Michael doing a great job? Some of you were with us. We were just reminiscing about his onboarding process and hiring him, and he felt so natural from the moment I met him, and I just knew he was going to be the right leader for all of you. And it's so fun every time I come to interact with all of you and for you to tell me what a great job he's doing. So if he's not, you know where to find me then, right? I'm a phone call away. But Michael, when we were talking about the survey launch, Michael reminded me that the last time I was here with him when he launched in 2024, he's like, and we scored in the 80s. He's like, so I feel like you're my good luck charm. Would you be here this year? Because we want to get back to the 80s. And I said, with pleasure. So there's nothing I can say that's not going to reiterate what Michael and what Norm and what others have said. But I just have to say, this is such a special community. As soon as I got out of my car when I arrived yesterday, I was greeted within 30 seconds by name. And my husband's like, how do they know you? Because he came with me. I said, well, I've been here before, but this is a friendly community. It is such a special place to live and to serve. And really the scores that we get just really allow us to feel that pride, as you said, Norm, to be like, this is a special place that I get to call home. And when we score for the Net Promoter Score a 9 or 10, all we are doing is affirming that this is a special place that we get to call home. And I say the same thing to our team members when we do the team member survey. You can give us all the candid feedback, But remember what a privilege it is to serve here. And how lucky we are that we get to serve in this community that you all get to live in. So this isn't just to ring our bell to, you know, for Michael's competitive spirit. It really is about acknowledging the beauty and that is Plymouth Village. And that's why, you know, the call to action is to score this a 9 or a 10 so that we can continue to sing those accolades. Because even in the greater community, when I went out to dinner last night, I was wearing my name badge and my husband said, do you want to take that off? I said, no, because I want them to know who I represent in Redlands. And like somebody at the server asked me about it and I was like, isn't it a special place? You should go visit. And my husband's like, you need to turn it off. And I'm like, no, I'm never there. Because I love what I do, I love who I serve, and I love who I get to do it with. And I go to all the communities within, and this is being recorded, so I should be careful. But I go to all the communities, and I have to just tell you, there is something very special about this community and the friendliness and the warmth in which you embrace folks. And I know that these scores represent what we all know to be true, which is that this community is special. So if it adds any credence to what Michael has already said, I too would say that I wish it was a simpler scale, but it is what it is. And for you to share with your friends too that aren't here today to remind them on this question, a 9 or a 10 means we are proud to live and reside in this beautiful, warm community, and anything less 8 or below means that we are not. And that really allows us to sing at the top of our lungs the pleasure that it is, the beauty that it is Plymouth Village. So thanks for letting me be here. I hope I'm the good luck charm, and I hope that we see this community back in the 80s. Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Lights back on.
I'm sorry, I failed.
You're doing great. All right, so before we get into our raffle, just a few updates. Actually, I was just being asked about the GEM tram that you might have seen moving around, and there's some activity happening with that. We're actually in the process of doing some repairs to it, so we can put that back in service. Yes, I know, we're actually back there, slap it away. So yeah, we're working on getting that thing back up and running, which will be definitely a huge benefit. It is a lot more comfortable, of course, to ride in, with the enclosure and everything like that for the weather. So that is coming back, once we get it all checked out, make sure it's safe and fully operational. So I'm excited about that. So dining, we have still some opportunities there. Definitely, we're in a great place with our staffing. So we have finally gotten to the point where we are fully staffed in there, and are ready to start making that push to really improve the overall experience. I think we have made some solid gains, and maybe in doing so, we may have fallen back on some other areas. But this is something that we very much want to really get our arms around and make sure that the entire experience is what you all want it to be. And so sometimes I think that we make a change to try and improve one thing, and that domino effect does negatively impact some other things. So we're looking for feedback on that. We've already started conversation with some of you residents, and we're going to be having a meeting to discuss exactly this, is really making sure that it's resident focused in our efforts to make changes, that it is with you all in mind in your experience. Certainly, it is never, and I do hear this, which I don't care for, that we're doing things for the convenience of the staff. And that is certainly not the case, 100% not the intention. It is ultimately to streamline or to make our systems better, to ideally make your experience better. It doesn't always work. And so we're never going to say this is the way it's going to be, and we're not making any changes. It's an interactive process that we want the feedback from all of you to let us know what your experience looks like out there in the real world, so that we can come back and take that to the team and say, okay, well, how can we do it better? So we are actively working on that. Hopefully you've seen some improvement even in the last couple of weeks. I know the dining seating process has been a very hot topic, and it's something that we're taking a look at to make that work better for you. So we're We're looking at all angles. Please share the feedback with us. Use your comment cards. Let Annetta or Rebecca know. Talk to me. Let me know what you're seeing and experiencing so that we can make some changes. We want your involvement in this process. And it's all for you. That's why I'm here. Oh, Sunday brunch. So we brought back Sunday brunch. And I've gotten some positive feedback, but I'm just curious about when I have this whole group here. Are we liking that? Is it well received? Yeah. Okay, I see some nods. Shows. He's saying when you're going to church in the morning and then you have other meetings, it could impact your ability to go and enjoy that. Of course.
Even if it is that hobby. Yeah, get back to those sports, but, so I was wondering, like, how about 10, 11, 15? Microphone, please.
I'll repeat. So she's saying if you are going to church or something like that in the morning, then the seating times are not necessarily conducive to being able to attend brunch because it's hard to make it back here in time for those seatings. So this is exactly what I'm talking about when I say we need this feedback. Is we're trying something new. I get some positive, feedback on that, but also there's little things that we can tweak and make it better for more people. So that's exactly what we need to know. So we can go back with them and say, can we adjust these seating times so that it's more conducive to more people?
This lady has a question.
So I was invited to the Sunday brunch. I was invited to the Sunday luncheon. I'm a vegetarian, which is difficult in the dining room a lot of times. And I had the pasta salad, the pasta side of it, and it was absolutely delicious. And I told Annetta and Rebecca that it was. But what irritates me is I can't get that kind of food on a regular basis. I mean, the sauce on the pasta was A1. But I've never had that in the dining room, just on a regular basis. Yeah.
Thank you for the positive feedback as well as the identified opportunity. Comments overall, brunch, we like the idea. Yeah. Very good, but there could be tweaks. Definitely look at that.
Thank you. I did not attend Sunday brunch. We're busy with other stuff. But if Sunday brunch is going to deprive us of the pleasure of dining in the dining room in the evening with our friends, I think that results in inconvenience, to say the least. And to have the only option of dinner on days when there is brunch served is to have it delivered. When it arrives cold. It's not fresh, and it's not timely. So I think there needs to be some adjustment made to the schedule, or to the frequency at which brunch is being served. It sounded delicious. I wish I was there, but there's my feedback.
That's really good feedback, and that's actually something that we did notice when we ran it as our kind of trial on, I think, the 19th, is that we had like 40-something deliveries for dinner. And so that's a lot, right? Yeah, and so then we have to figure out, okay, well, how are we getting this many meals out in a timely manner and still warm? And so we're looking at that as well to see if we want to potentially go with like a pickup option as well, so not everyone has to be getting their food delivered. So this is always a work in progress, and we're trying to figure out where the little speed bumps are so we can ideally smooth them out. But and this feedback is exactly how we get the information that we need to be able to do that.
I have a piece of feedback that kind of goes along with that. Three times in a row now in the flyer, I've read the following statement. dinner service on brunch days. Select and Go will not be available and there will be no sit-down dinner service due to the significant food waste experienced on brunch days. Could somebody explain that to me? I'm not really into food waste, so.
Neither am I. And I don't have the metrics on that for you. That's something that's coming out from dining, and I can definitely go back and talk to them and we can get more information. So we can share that out with all of you, like what does that actually look like in real time? So, and I imagine they're over preparing in those situations. So if they were to prepare for a regular dinner service and not as many folks showed up because they had attended the brunch earlier that day, then a lot of that food would go to waste.
I did go to brunch. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Warren and I went at 12. There was ample seating. They said, "Come in anywhere you want to eat." There was plenty of food. If anybody had come, even at 12:30, there still would have been ample food. So I think that the sit down time was flexible. So if you went to church and you couldn't get there till 12:20, would have been okay at this point, just to know.
Yeah, microphone cutting out a little bit there. But that's good information. As she was saying, they did go to brunch and they arrived after 12 and there was plenty of seating. So it's not assigned seating. It's, come walk on in and they'll get you seated. So even if you were coming after 12 o'clock seating time, they would have been able to accommodate you. There was plenty of food, plenty of space. So it is a little bit more flexible than maybe it appears when you're reading it in the flyer.
We may get this answered in the flyer, but the next brunch is scheduled on Mother's Day, I think.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, so, we'll be able to bring family in for that, won't we?
I'm gonna say yes. Yeah, that should be just like a regular Mother's Day brunch that we would do doing past years. So I'd say, yeah, reservations are a good idea, especially if you're bringing a larger group, so they know what to prepare for.
What does this do to holiday brunches? You're gonna end up with 2 or 3 a month?
You could end up with more brunches, potentially. Yeah, because they're gonna continue the regular holiday brunch schedule, is the plan as of now.
A lot of brunches.
It is. Too much of a good thing?
I just think it's
It's a lot less, it's gonna be a lot of food.
It's a lot less dinners. Yeah, and so that, again, this is something that we can look at, and if it's not working for you all, we could go to a lower frequency of brunches and have them less often. That way they're a little bit more special.
Few and far between.
Makes sense. Thanks. That's all I have on my list, I believe. Any other, Jan?
I need help with 1390. I have not had anything but a blank screen for 4 weeks. And that is terrible. And what is being done about it?
1390, GBTV. Hopefully it's working right now as we're live on air. Ashley's giving me the thumbs up. So we have had some hiccups with 1390 as it does go down, and sometimes it's an internal system error, like a hardware error, and it has to be reset, which we can easily do. Other times it's with the provider. It is with your Spectrum or with Cubigo, actually issues that arise with them, and we have to then go through their channels to get those corrected. But Fresca is really on top of it. Her and Victoria and IT are communicating those issues out as soon as they're coming to our attention and working to get them resolved. So it has been a little spotty. I'm surprised to hear that it's been out for that long for you, so we can look at yours specifically, but I know it was down and Victoria had got it back up. I think that was last week, most recently. So it should be working, but if it's not, if you are experiencing issues with it, reach out to us and let us know. Call the concierge, just tell them it's not, so that we can then go and look if it's something that we can address on our end quickly. Or if it's something that we need to submit a ticket for to the company.
Oh, yes. Move to gravel. I'm not a fan of gravel, but the gravel runners with the administration, at least everything looks great. I mean, it's. The gravel, I'm not a fan, and with what they've done so far around administration looks, nice and tight and clean. But what they've also done is they have covered 2 beds in the vegetable garden with gravel, which is a complete no if anybody knows anything about planting, because the gravel will get very hot and the water doesn't hold on the surface, it will just go straight down. And when you've got wood chips, they dampen up and they hold the moisture, which is what is needed, and it basically looks awful.
Okay, so specifically in like by the dog park over here?
Yes.
Yeah, I can.
It's horrible. And
Oh,
it's
that's
bad,
cute.
it's bad for kids.
Understood. And
And there was a hand, did I miss it? Oh. You were right there.
There was a mistake up on the board, right by the dining room last week that said the current event social was gonna be on Monday, April 30th. And, I talked to Ray last night, I called him to say there was a correction. It's Thursday, April 30th, in the upper, lodge living room, that we've asked people that would be interested to bring an article or an idea that they'd like to share. And Madison was very specific about the mood of our gathering. She says, share your thoughts, hear different perspectives while fostering a respectful, non-political conversation. Join your peers, bring your choice of article and open mind. And so it is coming this Thursday at 10 o'clock in the upper living room. And we hope we have a turnout. It won't be repeated if there's not a significant turnout. Thank you.
thank you. All right, we're getting down to the wire.
I've heard that Morrison is being replaced by Human Good. Is that a?
So not currently here is Human Good Communities. There are some that are in the process of transitioning to self-operated dining. So they're going away from Morrison and it is coming in-house through Human Good, and they're building out an infrastructure to support the dining programs. That is not currently happening at Plymouth Village. We are not on that schedule as of yet, but that is something that is happening at other communities throughout our portfolio. So we don't have anything official yet for us. They've got the schedule all laid out for this year, but I would anticipate that happening maybe early next year for us. And as soon as we hear a firm date, then we will share that out.
I just want to make a comment on that. So I have several of the communities that have been self-operated from a dining perspective that I support. And I have several communities that are going live as self-operated in dining right now. So next time I come back, I'd be happy to give you a report on how that's going from a resident perspective, if that would be helpful. And then, because it's probably good to let the kinks work out at some of the other communities. So if you'd like, when I come back, I'll give you a report on how that's going so that you guys kind of know what to expect and what to look forward to.
I have a question about redoing that meeting that we did about assisted living. I think there were a lot of people that wanted to attend that were not able. And I thought it was very, very helpful and beneficial.
Assisted living Mythbusters that we did last year. Yes, Eric and I have been talking about scheduling another one, and you'll see we're going to be running an informational little blurb about AL home care medication management in the flyer. as well, just to kind of, keep bringing awareness to that. If you yourself, or maybe one of your neighbors, you've noticed a little bit of additional help, highlighting the options that are available, including assisted living. And if you're interested in just finding out more about assisted living, want to take a tour, come check it out, please just reach out to Erica and she's happy to answer any of your questions or give you a quick tour. But the plan is to have another Mythbusters event, hopefully within the next month. Is our
I'm Sharon Bennett. I want to say a word of appreciation for Lauren Earhart. She has instituted something I hope will continue, which is little conferences on mental health. She's prepared information for people. She's given opportunities for discussion. And I think everybody who attended them was very pleased with the opportunity. She's also chosen to show a series of videos highlighting the accomplishments of women in areas that were not considered to be proper, like astronauts and flyers and whatever. So I really appreciate what she's doing. I know this is not always convenient for people who live far away from the lodge, but I can assure you, particularly for us women who are also, it's worth it.
Thank you. That's a great plug for Laurel and the activities that she has going on over here at the lodge. And all of our activities, of course, are open to everyone. They're not necessarily designed specifically for any level of living. They're always open to everyone. So if it looks interesting, please, we encourage you to come and check it out. And yeah, Laurel does a great job of coming up with interesting things to present to you all. All right. We are a little bit over time. I'm going to give it. It's fine. They're all here waiting for the raffle. So we've got an active audience at the moment. I'm going to ask Marietta's going to speak a little bit about the foundation.
I will make it very quick. Really, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Recycle program. I want to thank you. First of all, it was really great to start the meeting today on such a positive note with the scholarships. Thanks, Boyd. He works very hard at that with his community. This Recycle that we've been doing here at Plymouth Village, we've done it now 12 months. We started in April of 2025, and this is April of 2026. So I got a spreadsheet of what we took in each month as far as plastics, glass, and aluminum. So at the Community Life Festival, the foundation table, I had a basket and a little blurb that said, take a guess, how much weight, how many pounds of aluminum do you think we gathered in the last 12 months? So people took guesses and they were all over the board. But the winner, of course, is going to receive recognition. And today, that's all she gets. So we collected 465 pounds of aluminum cans you collected from April to April. The guess was 450. Heidi Hutchinson, would you please stand? We found it. Just really quickly, sound-wise, and think about the environment and think about what you've done. And if you're a person who doesn't have aluminum glass or whatever, fine. But those of you who do, we get to pick it up every month. So we collected 465 pounds of aluminum, 2,567 pounds of glass. You're good drinkers. And 484 pounds of plastic, which is plastic bottles. Think about that a minute. Next time you pick up an empty aluminum can, think about it, or an empty plastic can. Anyway, for the recycle only, we collected $1,769 for the year in just the recycle. Then a good friend of yours and mine, Boyd, In August, we started in April. In August, leaned over and said to me, I'll match next month's take. So starting in August, I've had a match for every month. And that has raised the $1,769 to $2,500. The more than double. So now I have a match. This is the end. I have a match for every month through November but June. So if any of you want June, just let me know. A total, you got it. A total weight is 3,544 pounds. So thanks a lot. You did a great job for the environment, for the benevolence fund, just as the furniture store is doing, just as the heart sales are doing, just as your donations are doing. We are taking care of one another. We are a caring community. And now I'm going to turn this over to Billy Rogers, who is the chairman of the 50/50 committee on the foundation board, and Michael. One of you gets more than recognition.
First, I just wanted to thank everybody who bought tickets. It's a pretty long project. You know, we have the first week, the foundation committee members sell tickets. The second week, we cover the lunch and dinner prior to the lunch and dinner. So just the people that were really helpful with that at lunch, you know, Prescott and Sydney, who were there. And sometimes at dinner, Henry came to dinner sometimes. Marietta helped us out. Linda Morgan was always there with me at dinner, and Sally Melville came at both lunches and dinners to cover. We realized that it got pretty hectic sometimes, and it was good to have at least two, if not three people there. Have I left anybody out? Okay, all right, thank you.
Here they are.
Oh, we get to choose.
Oh, I'm coming back.
I'm short enough, I can't see it there, so I'll fiddle around in here a little bit. Yes, okay. Linda Morgan. So much for this project is all right.
What's our total?
It was $2,880.
Yeah.
So what's the get? $1,440. $1,040. So Linda.
Okay, I will release you to have lunch. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you all for coming in.
Nice to see all of you. God bless.
I'm kind of slow. That's quite all right.
Tell me the story of that picture.